Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my video series for Patreon. I'm going to be going over open chords today. So we're going to start with some nice simple chords to get you started playing the guitar. All right, I'm assuming you watched my first video on the 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise, but if not, a quick recap. The names of the strings are as follows: high E at the bottom here, B, G, D, A, and low E, or every boy gets donuts after 8. All right, so those are our string names. And for holding our pick, we kind of want to stick our thumb out like this. We want to place our pick so the long part of it is sticking out the side of your thumb, curl our index finger, and then kind of close it in on our index finger. That way, when you strum, you're moving your wrist in this motion rather than this motion. So you want a nice side kind of twist thing along with moving your forearm up and down. Cool, so that's holding our pick. Now we're gonna go for basic chords. For all intents and purposes, this is finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, and finger 4. So we're gonna start with the E minor chord. And with the E minor chord, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our middle finger, or finger 2, and we're gonna find the A string, which is right here, and we're gonna go 1 fret, 2 frets. So in the space behind the 2nd fret, we're gonna place our middle finger. Then we're gonna take our ring finger and do the same thing on the D string. So we're gonna find 1 fret, 2 frets. So our middle finger is gonna be on the 2nd fret of the A string, and our ring finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the D string. Now what we're gonna do is our thumb's gonna be back here against the back of the neck, basically behind the 2nd fret, and we're gonna kind of pinch in between our thumb and our 2 fingers. Just enough, and we're gonna be trying to be on the tips of those 2 fingers, just enough to where we're pushing it down, not squeezing as hard as we can. Okay, so we just get enough pressure there. We're gonna take our pick hand here, and we're just gonna strum all 6 strings. Cool. So this is our E minor chord. If you want to check to make sure you have all the notes, what we're going to do is play each string by itself. And you can hear there are no buzzes or missed notes there. If you hear a buzz or a missed note, try to adjust your fingers and press down a little harder. There's our E minor once again. 2nd finger or middle finger, 2nd fret of the A string, ring finger or 3rd finger, 2nd fret of the D string. So there is our E minor chord. All right, so we're gonna move on from E minor to A minor. Okay, A minor is pretty similar. We're just gonna kind of move things around a little bit. We're still gonna start with our middle finger, and we're gonna go to the 2nd fret of the D string, and we're gonna take our 3rd finger and go to the 2nd fret of the G string. So nothing here on the low E, nothing on the A. 2nd fret of the D, 2nd fret of the G. Then we're gonna take our index finger or our 1st finger and go to the 1st fret of the B string. Okay, so we have nothing here, 2, 2, 1, and then nothing on our E string. Now for this strum, what I'd like you to do is try not to hit the low E string. So we'll start our strum on the A string and play these 5 strings. And this is our A minor chord. Okay, once again, middle finger, 2nd fret of the D string, ring finger, 2nd fret of the G string, index finger, 1st fret of the B string. Strum everything but the low E. There's our A minor. Once again, you can check it 1 string at a time. Make sure everything's sounding nice. Okay, so with that, what we want to practice is making our E minor chord, then making our A minor chord. So we start out with our E minor chord, strum it, then we make our A minor chord, and strum it, and just try to go back and forth at your own pace. Don't try to strum until you've made the chord. Okay, and make sure everything sounds good before moving on to the next chord. And just going back and forth like that. So this would be exercise 1. Okay, cool. Now, we are going to make one more chord, and that is going to be our C chord. So this one's a little more difficult than the other two, so don't get frustrated if it takes a little longer to get, but you will get it if you keep playing it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our third finger or ring finger, place that on the 3rd fret of the A string. We're going to take our middle finger or second finger, place that on the 2nd fret of the D string. We're going to skip the G string and place our first finger on the 1st fret of the B string and then leave our high E open. Just like with the A minor chord, with C, we're not going to be playing our low E string. So we're going to start our pick from the A string and strum that. And that's our C chord. So once again, we have third finger or ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, middle finger or second finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, skip the G string, take our index finger or first finger and place that at the 1st fret of the B string, and there is our C chord. One more time, we can play each note individually to see if we have any issues. And if we do, it's just going to take some finger adjustments. The most important thing, even if you're hearing some buzz, and even if you're hearing some clicking like you're not getting all the notes down, is having our fingers in the right spot. That is the most important thing when you're making a new chord. The pressure will come, the adjustments will come, but the fingers need to be in the right spot. So even if it doesn't sound amazing, just keep putting those fingers in the right spot and eventually it will. I promise. All right. So what we're going to do for exercise number 2 is go back and forth from our A minor chord to our C chord, because that's the easiest switch. So if we look here at my A minor chord, we have 2, 2, and 1, right? So the only thing we have to do to make our C chord is take our ring finger or our 3rd finger and move it to the A string on the 3rd fret. The other 2 fingers, you're gonna have a little shifting here, but the other 2 fingers stay on the same fret. So we're moving that ring finger from the 2nd fret of the G string to the 3rd fret of the A string. So here's our A minor. And we move that 3rd finger. There's our C, right? So what we wanna do is go back and forth. A minor, C. A minor, C. Cool. Now, when you're doing these strumming, if you accidentally hit the low E string, it's not the end of the world, don't worry about it. But just try to shoot from starting your picking for those 2 chords on the A string. Yeah, just like that. So we just go back and forth with our A minor to our C. Now, finally, we have exercise number 3, and I'll bet you can guess what that is. We're going to go from E minor to C. So we start with our E minor here. And this one is going to be our most challenging one because we have to move all of our fingers. So there's our A minor, or E minor, sorry. And here's our C. The other difference is when we're strumming that E minor, we want to get all 6 strings with our pick. And when we're strumming that C, we want to get only 5. And we just go back and forth from E minor to C. And remember, with all of these exercises, we're only worried about having our fingers in the right spot. We're not worried about speed. We're not worried about timing. We're not worried about necessarily even getting the pressure and making sure all the notes sound great. We just want our fingers in the right spots, first and foremost. Once they're consistently in the right spots, then let's work on making them sound a little bit better, and then we work on timing. So quick review. Exercise number 1 here is going to be E minor to A minor. Back to E minor to A minor. Okay, exercise number 2 is going to be A minor to C. Back to A minor and back to C. Do this as many times as you're comfortable, each of these chord changes. Finally, exercise number 3 is going to be E minor to C. E minor to C. Awesome. So, you're playing these chord changes. You feeling comfortable. Everything sounds good. You can make the chord shapes relatively easily. The next step is we're going to do 4 strums of each chord. And we're going to try to do those in time. So it'll be the same 3 chord changes. We're just going to do 4 strums. And what I want you to do when we're doing these is just count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to count while we do that. Then we switch to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now we're going to switch from A minor to C, doing the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4 to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now some of you may have noticed that my thumb is creeping up over the fretboard a little bit, and I originally said we were going to keep it posted right behind the 2nd fret there. Now, if your hands are a little bit bigger, your thumb may slide up. If you're catching strings like that, then you might want to bring your thumb back a little bit. But if you're able to bring it around because you have larger hands and you still can hear all the notes, not a big deal. All right, finally, the last of the exercises is we're going to go from E minor to C. Same thing, 4 strums E minor, 4 strums C. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So, quick review of everything. Holding our pick. Pick comes out of the side of our thumb. Curl our index finger. Bring it around so that we're moving this motion with our wrist and our forearm. Fingers 1, 2, 3, 4. String names are high E, B, G, D, A, and E. We're going to make 3 chords. E minor, 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the A string, 3rd finger, 2nd fret of the D string. If you need to check, 1 string at a time. 2nd chord, A minor, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, index finger on the 1st fret of the B string. No strumming of the low E string there, so just strum these 5 strings. And if we need to check, once again, 1 string at a time. All right, finally, we have our C chord. 3rd finger, 3rd fret of the A string, middle finger, 2nd fret of the D string, skip the G string, 1st finger, 1st fret of the B string. Once again, we're not playing the low E string. And if we need to check, 1 string at a time. Yeah. And then we have 6 exercises. First exercise, going from E minor to A minor. Just simple strums, take your time. Try to make sure your fingers are in the right spot, just back and forth. secondly, going from A minor to C. Now with this change, remember we only really have to move one finger, that third finger. So it'll sound like this. Great. Exercise number 3, E minor to C. This we have to move all our fingers and it'll sound like this. Remember, we're going to strum 6 strings for the E minor and only 5 strings for the C. All right, and if you accidentally catch the low E string, not a big deal. Just don't shoot for it. All right, so exercise number 4, we're going to be counting to 4 and doing 4 strums of each chord. And we're going to go back and forth like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, E minor to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Exercise 5, A minor to C with the exact same 4 strokes per chord. 1, 2, 3, 4 to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, great job. Last, exercise 6, I believe, 4, 5, and 6. We're gonna go E minor to C, 4 strums for each chord. Try to keep them nice and even and count along with yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what I like to do after I'm done practicing anything that I'm working on is I like to have a little bit of fun. So I might switch it up. Maybe I'll go from C to E minor to A minor, just for fun. Back to E minor, why not? Up to C to A minor. And if I'm lyrically inclined or like vocally inclined, I guess, maybe I'll work on writing a melody to that. Because it's never too early to start writing stuff. If you only know 3 chords, you can still write a song. If you only know 2 chords, you can still write a song. I've seen people write a song with 1 chord. So that's all you need. So step 1, get the chord shapes. Step 2, switch between the chord shapes. And step 3, add in your 4 strums per chord. And then finally, have some fun with your chords. That would be my recommended practice schedule for those chords. I would also go back and review the 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise and start each practice session with that exercise because it is an amazing exercise and it'll warm your fingers up and it'll actually make it easier when it comes time to play these chords. I think that's about it. Greetings from Utah. That's where I am. I'm on the road right now with Hyrie and we're about to play tomorrow here in Utah. Yeah, have a wonderful time, and I will be right back beginning of next month with another lesson video for you. If you have any suggestions for lesson videos, please don't hesitate to hit me up as well. I'd love to hear them, and I'd love to work on what you want to learn. All right, take care.